cards that is not the same as a regular bridge playing deck of cards. There's only 48 cards in a Pinochle deck, and the cards only go from ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9. However, the 10 is higher than a king. So it's actually ace, 10, king, queen, jack, 9. And you get 2 of each. It's 2 aces of spades, 2 kings of spades, etc., 2 jacks of hearts. So it's double. Okay, and the way that our club is going to be set up, we play 4-handed, single deck. We use 1 deck at a time. Okay, you're going to read about or hear about playing double deck or triple deck Pinochle, but that is that's off the wall. And
Don't confuse it.
it's not as pure as playing single deck 4-handed. That's the if you play that, you know how to play Pinochle. Pinochle is similar to bridge in that you have to bid, okay, in order to name a trump. But there is no trump in Pinochle. And
There's no trump in Pinochle.
there's no trump in Pinochle. So, and in each deal, each hand that is dealt, they're dealt 4 cards at a time to each player, starting with the left of the dealer. The original dealer is usually chosen by cards. Okay. Partners are usually chosen by jacks. You just start turning the cards over. The first 2 jacks would be partners. So when you come to play, you never know
Oh,
who
it's
your
random.
partner's going to be.
Yeah.
How did you always get Uncle Steven then? If it was random, that's what I want to know.
I know where the jacks were.
Isn't that a good question? Yes.
So,
I think Uncle Steven wanted to have
Yeah,
Michael.
oh, is that the way it
Oh, he
was?
thought Mike was a great player.
so anyway, in becoming the scorekeeper is actually an honor, because the scorekeeper is like the quarterback of the game. He announces the score, he announces the bid, he announces whose deal it is, and he gives you a running total of the score throughout the game. So he has to be honest, and he has to be able to count. So,
And he's the one
No counting.
And he's the
so it's
one.
considered an honor to be the scorekeeper.
And he also speaks the most Polish. Because
Yes.
I'll tell you, after every bid, he's got to say something in Polish.
Polish, yes. So
We'll never do that.
we'll get to that in a few minutes. Dick is going to explain the Polish terms.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, this is from Uncle Steven. It is a custom when new players come to your house to play to always use a new deck of cards. It is an honor to your guest if you break out a new deck.
That is right. After my father died, we found above his hutch many just newly played cards.
But he never used them again.
He never used them. And he always would be an honor to break out new cards for someone. So we had a lot
I
of
have
them.
a lot of new decks. Everyone's going to get a deck of cards to take with them home.
Okay.
Okay, so you can practice or whatever. Now the game is actually played in 2 parts. We have what is known as meld, that is combinations of cards in your hand that are worth points. Okay, the points you're trying to gather is to reach 100. The first team that gets to 100 points is usually declared the winner. I'd say usually because if 2 teams are close to 100, it is the team that makes a bid and goes over 100 that is the winner. Now the other team may have more points than you, but because you took the bid and made it and got over 100 points, you are declared the winner of that game.
It's very important. That's called bidder out.
Yeah.
And you might look on the internet and people don't know that rule. It takes away a lot of the strategy of the game.
Yeah.
Bidder out is a very important rule. We always play by that way.
Okay. Now the combinations of cards that you could have for points, I've got some samples here. The best thing you can have normally is a run. That's ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of the same suit. Okay? That's worth 15 points.
In trump. It has to be in trump.
Yeah, okay. If you are going to bid and you have that in your hand, that is worth 15 points if you get the bid and declare it to be trump.
Right.
Okay? Now, the 9 also counts as 1 point. That has to be meld. Whoever has the 9 of trump has to show it. There's 2 of them in each deal. Now, if you have the 9, that's worth 16 points. It also gives you power cards in your hands to play because you got to have the trump in your hand. There's only 12 trump out, so you've got half of them. So you probably do well when you're actually playing the deal of cards. Now, the other combinations are aces, kings, queens, and jacks. They have to be 1 of each suit. Okay? Like aces, very powerful also. That's worth 10 points. Kings are worth 8. If you had all 4 queens, they'd be worth 6. All 4 jacks would be worth 4. The most common type of meld would be a marriage. That would be the king and queen of the same suit. They are worth 2 points unless it is the king and queen of trump. That is worth 4 points. Now the king and queen of trump that's in a run doesn't count as an extra 4. That's already counted in the run. Okay.
But that run,
Yeah. So now that would be, you would get 16 for the run, plus you'd get an extra 4 because you have the other king and queen. Okay, so that would be worth 20 points to start with.
That's a good hand.
Okay, and the most popular thing to get, if you can, is a Pinochle, which is the jack of diamonds and the queen of spades. And if you look on the deck of cards, you'll see 2 jacks of diamonds and 2 queens of spades. That is a full Pinochle. That's worth 30 points.
Ooh.
Very rare to get that, but it does happen. Okay, so the regular jack of diamonds and queen of spades is worth 4 points. Now, when you get your hand dealt to you, you're going to get an all kind of mix of cards. You arrange them in your hand, black suit, red suit, black suit, red suit, or vice versa, whatever. And you look in your hand and you try to figure out how much meld you have. Okay. The player to the left of the dealer will start the bidding. Okay. There is a minimum bid of 15. You have to bid 15. You would make 15 points in the play of the cards. Now, to play the cards, ace is always high, 10 is next, then king, queen, jack, and so forth. You must always follow suit if you have it. If you do not have it, you must trump the suit, whether it's your partner's ace or not. That's when another Polish word comes into play.
So say it's your partner's trick, you still have to.
You
still have to use your bid.
You must
You're a
always.
trump.
That's lousy.
You must
Yeah.
always try to beat. Not try, but you must always beat the card. That's the boss of the trick. that's been played. No matter who played it. And if you don't have the suit and you don't have any trump, you can then play anything you want.
Okay.
Now, the cards that are called counters, that count for points, are the aces, 10s, and kings. So when you're playing the deal and playing the handout, those are the only things that count as you're gathering your tricks. So you're trying to get as many kings, 10s, and aces in your pile as you can. Now, also, when before the bidding starts, you look at your hand and you say, what do I have for meld? Okay, now there's a great hand. He's got everything, you know. He can bid 50 if he wanted, but
Only 9 cards.
say he had just a king and queen, and then the jack of diamonds in his hand. Okay, that's worth 6 meld. So, if he wanted to, he could give a Q bid to his partner by increasing the opening bid by 1. He would start the bid at 16 rather than 15. That is a Q bid to his partner that I have probably 6 meld or so, maybe 8, but normally 6 would be enough to give your partner a Q bid. If you have more than that in your hand, you would raise the bid by 2. Okay, 17. It probably shows you got 8 to 10 meld in your hand. If you have all 4 aces, the Q bid for that is always 19. When you bid 19, that tells your partner you have 4 aces, 1 of each at least, and also one of them has to be the ace of trump. So no matter where trump comes from, you've got one of the aces. It's a powerful thing to have in your hand, and you collect a lot of tricks. Okay? So you might bid 19, but your hand might be more powerful than your partner's. So then it's just, if you want to bid against each other, you know,
You give a
it's up to you.
Yeah, you give a melding bid, indicating to your partner that you have points to meld, but you want your partner to call trump because you don't have a real long suit. Like if you had a run, 15 points, you don't give a melding bid because you want to take the bid.
Yeah.
But if you had like a double pinochle with just, queens and small cards, you got a lot of support, but you don't have strength, so it's an indication to your partner he should bid to take, so he can call trump.
Yeah, 'cause
So
you
you
got a
So you
strong
can't bid a meld and trump. You can only do one.
Yeah, you only give bid a number. It's not like bridge. Just
Okay.
then after everyone passes, then whoever had the highest bid declares
I see.
trump.
Okay.
So Dick, if you have a long suit and you don't want to give a melding bid, what are you opening with?
You just say 15.
Yeah, just start
Try to
at
get it.
15.
So the melding bids are like 16,
The
17.
melding bids are
19.
And they
just
tell you
Q
what
bids.
your
Skip a
partner
number.
has.
Skip a number.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mike, how would you give a melding bid if you're not the first one to bid, but like it's in the middle of the
You would
pack?
skip.
Skip
Just skip.
how many?
Yeah.
So if Dick
You would
bid
skip- if you
16
went
and I had a
15,
melding
16,
bid, I might
18.
18.
That would
Okay.
be enough for
That would
aces?
be a melding bid
Okay.
How about
by skipping one
how about for
step.
aces? If you had aces, what would you give?
I would go right to 19.
But say 19 is already taken. so
I would double it by 2.
go up, jump it
I
by 2.
would go
21.
20.
But
You know, that shows you've got
power.
at least 10 points in your hand
But
as a meld.
There's one point about melding I'd like to make, and that is that you see this run. This run has the queen of spades in there. The jack of diamonds and this queen of spades can go together to make a pinochle. In other words, it doesn't have. You don't need another queen of spades. You can incorporate your cards and your run in other
So you can
in
double
other
dip.
meld.
Yeah.
double dip.
Like the aces would count.
See,
So
so
you can
this
double dip 'em.
this has a run for 15. It has a pinochle because you got the jack of diamonds, queen of spades, and it has the 4 aces, even though 1 is already in your run. So this is 15, 25. That's 29 meld hand right there.
Yeah, that's power personified.
Yeah, you don't get that.
You wouldn't see too many hands like this.
But I just wanted to say, you can have,
You can use cards in
or
other
you could
ways.
have like, if you had the 3 other kings, and you had a run. You have
You
a
can
run.
use that
The
king
king
for the
that's
other
in the
kings.
run can count. So this is 15 and 8 is 23.
You just can't use the king and queen twice.
As
It
a
counts
marriage.
as
Right,
a run,
Marriage.
not as a
exactly,
marriage.
exactly.
Unless you get the other set.
Now, the
Right.
player who takes the bid and declares what trump is,
Mhm.
okay, and then everyone puts their meld down in front of their hands. The scorekeeper will count it, and for each team, he will record the amount of meld each team has. Okay. In order to keep your meld, you must make the bid that you bid. If you do not make, say you bid 25, and then after I got 9 meld and I made 14 counters, I only made 23. I get set. I did not make my bid. I lose my meld, and I get deducted the amount that I bid, 25. That goes off your score, a minus.
You go into jail.
Bad thing to get set. Okay. Normally you get set when it's bitter out, when everyone's
Yeah.
trying to,
Trying to win the
you
game.
know, you might,
Because you need to take the bid to go.
yeah, in order to go out.
But one of the beauty parts of the game is that whether to bid or not, whether to bid one more or not, is right on the verge of you making it, and maybe you can't make it.
Yeah.
And that's the strategy of the game. It's gonna be a tough decision. Do I bid or not? I have like 10 meld, I think I can make 10 points, that's 20. Can I bid 21? I don't know. That's the art of the game. When you're at that dilemma, then that just comes from
Yeah.
experience.
Experience, right?
Yeah,
And a
that's
little
just
bit of luck.
playing.
Yeah.
A little bit of luck.
Hoping your partner can help you.
Now,
Right.
on once all the meld is counted, okay, the actual play of the cards goes on. So again, as I said before,
So yeah, you pick up your meld, put it back in your hand.
yeah. Okay, so now you're going to play the second half of the Pinochle deal. Is the play of the cards. The person who took the bid will lead off.
With the trump.
Mostly.
He can lead any card he
Oh,
wants.
but he has to tell, does he have to tell you what the trump is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Call that.
You would call
Call that
spades a
before-
trump.
before melding.
Okay.
Okay.
And everyone puts their meld down, and the play of the cards, the person who won the bid will start the play, and he plays whatever card he wants. And it goes from left to right around clockwise around the table. And every player must beat the card that is the boss card on the table at the time. If you can. Okay. Sometimes you can't. You can't beat the ace of trump.
But can I throw the 9? Well, not a trump, but could I throw a lower card?
You can throw a lower card, but
Or
it
do I
has to
have
be
throw
a
the
trump.
king, the
If you
next
have,
one
you
on
have
the
to.
card?
What if
Yeah,
she
but-
has the ace? What if she has the other ace?
The first ace
Wins.
The
Or
first
does
is
she
not-
have to throw her ace?
It
You have
happens.
to throw the
It's
high
called a
card.
lone ace, and it's embarrassing, and sometimes you have to play it.
Okay.
Your father just had to play it when at my house, and he went like that.
If I have a lone ace, it ends up upside down on
Upside
the
down.
table.
Yeah.
So if you have a lone ace in your hand,
You wanna play
leave
that
it
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a
If you
Polish word
if you have-
associated
yeah.
with that?
I don't know, Paskudnik maybe you'd say if it was.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question? So in theory,
And there's a,
Mike,
Wait a
minute,
he's got a question.
oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
sorry. So in theory, what you're trying to do is draw a trump. So let's say you come in diamonds as trump. You're trying to draw all the trump out, correct?
If you can.
If you can,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
That's
got
where you count the cards.
You
Yeah,
count them in your
there's
hand.
12 trump
Right, so you count.
in a hand. So
Right.
in your hand, you've already got 6 in this particular example.
Mhm.
So I would play the ace, depending on what fell.
Mhm.
If the other ace is still out, I would
Throw the
then
10.
probably throw the queen.
Well, I played it, 10 is a point, so you have to leave that.
You wanna make sure you save your kings,
You want to
You're
try
trying
to
tens,
draw
and
it out.
aces.
That's if you're.
That's what you're
if
trying to
you're
get.
leading, you can
That's
throw
what
whatever you
counts.
want.
Yeah, but you just said it.
When you count up all the cards that you take in the hand. in
You
the
asked me
trick.
about playing the second ace.
But we're having a debate. Like,
so-
if an ace is thrown and I have a king, am I required to throw my king, or can I throw my 9 if I
Oh, you
have
throw
it?
If it's your
low
partner's ace, you throw the king.
Well, yeah, to
Points.
give them the point.
Right.
But
Right.
I
So you
can
don't
I
have to
throw
throw the
whatever
highest
card I
card.
have.
If you can't beat it, no, you can throw anything as
Okay.
long
The only,
as you
only
follow suit.
requirement is to beat the card if you can.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
that
Follow
example,
suit.
you could play the 9, the jack, the queen, the king, the
You
king.
gotta follow suit.
Okay.
So
But
only if you can beat it, you have to throw the high card.
Right.
You have to
Right.
beat the
You
trick.
Okay.
have to beat what's over there.
Okay.
And if
Got
a
it.
trick is trumped, if I play a spade and Dick doesn't have any spades, and he puts a 9 of diamonds down, which is trumped,
Yep.
he takes that trick.
Yep.
And if Mike doesn't have any
That's
spades
a
as
good
well,
example, Pete.
okay, go
Let's
ahead.
put it this way. Suppose Michael leads the ace of trump, the ace of diamonds, and spades are trump. I don't have any
Diamonds.
diamonds, so I can play the king of diamonds and trumpet. Okay, and now it comes to young Michael over here. He doesn't have any diamonds, but he does have trump, but he can't beat it. Very, very important. He still must play the trump.
Cause you played it?
Because
But diamonds
he,
was led.
Because
diamonds
I don't
was
have
led.
any.
He doesn't have any
Doesn't
diamonds.
So
have
he,
any
but he
diamonds,
has trump,
but he has, even
and he
though
has to play
he
it?
cannot beat it, he cannot beat it, must still play the trump.
Wait, say it.
It could be very frustrating, but that is
Say
the
it
rule,
again,
and you
Dick.
must
Say
follow
that
it.
again.
Okay, Michael played the ace of diamonds.
So ace of diamonds is
Spades,
no,
spades,
spades
spades,
is
spades,
trump.
and
All
trump.
right. Yep.
Okay, I have,
No diamonds. Nick
I
has
have no diamonds.
Yep.
So
Okay.
he trumps it.
So I have to trump it.
Yep.
Now it comes to young Michael. He
I don't have
doesn't
any
have any
diamonds.
diamonds,
But I got a
but
trump.
he does have a trump. However, he cannot beat this trump.
But he still has to throw it.
He
He
never
still has
to throw it
still
and he
must
loses
play
his
it.
trump.
Still gonna
Now,
play it.
now, if Tracy had no diamond but the 10 of trump, she has to put the 10 of trump on it, even
Yeah.
whether that's her partner or not. But if she doesn't have any diamonds, doesn't have any trump, she can play anything she wants.
And you throw
And that's when
garbage.
you would give your partner
You give your
counter,
partner
Partner
point.
point
A
if you
point.
can.
but not your opponent if you can help it.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
That was a good question. That's
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you give your partner points and junk to your
Opponents,
opponent.
sure,
Okay.
okay.
You give your partner points to a certain extent, but
Yeah,
if you
the 10
have the
you
10,
wouldn't give an ace.
yeah, you
The
would
10
give
is questionable.
the 10 is questionable. If
Yeah.
you think the 10, if you know by watching the hand that the 10 is the most powerful thing, you're not going to give that to your partner if you can play it on your lead and get all the way around and get a card from everybody. So sometimes you give your partner a 10. Usually you always give your partner a king because that's a
That's
point.
point.
That's a counter. Okay.
Okay.
Aces,
But,
tens,
and you're not going to get a trick with a king. So
No.
give it to you very rarely.
yeah.
So you got to keep your attention on the cards. The
And
old
what's been
pros,
played.
like Michael is one of the old pros. He knows what everybody has played and what's left. My father and the old guys were really good at that. But
yeah, just like if you play bridge, you know what
You gotta
everyone
know
has
what every-
after, if you're paying attention.
if you pay attention, count your trump, and also watch what other people meld. Because suppose you're wondering, hey, is this queen going to be good? But I know he had a marriage in spades and didn't play it
did he
yet. Then
throw
I
it
know
yet?
he's got the king. So one little complication is that at the end of the game, if it's a close game, you don't necessarily have to show all your meld. Because you're giving the other player, your opponent, an advantage to see what you have. The only obligatory meld, as Mike said, is the nine of trump. But otherwise, you
You
might not
don't have to melt.
You don't
Show
have to
it.
melt. You don't have to show it.
At the end of the game is when that
Yeah,
would
that
come
would be
into-
the only time.
That's rare. So 9 times out of 10 you play all your meld.
Play all your meld. Oh, and there's one other thing too. You should know is that very rarely happens, but if you have 8 aces, that's worth 100. 8 kings is 80. 8 queens is 60. 8
Yeah,
jacks.
those are rarities.
Very rare, but you should know about. And a double run, very rare. It's worth 100.
Yeah. I've only seen a double run once in all of 60 years that I've watched the game, and that was our Uncle Teddy. He had it when we lived on Vernon Street.
Oh, is that we heard the yelling down on
Yes.
Endicott Street? That's what the hell
He stood up. They had regular card tables, the old
Yeah,
folding
yeah.
card tables. All our houses had them, and that's what they used. They'd bring them out, put the 4 funeral chairs there, and they played. He stood up and he started banging the table with each card.
Oh, one at a time. He
One
won.
at a time to show that he had a double run. Very rare. Game is over because he's got 100 points.
Right.
You know.
Well, I only knew 8 aces to take place once, and that was at my house. One of the players was named Richard Rojcewicz, and it was such a rare thing. He got his name in the paper the next day for having that. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like a
getting
hole-in-one in golf.
like a hole in one,
Yeah.
or a perfect hand
Yes,
in
sir.
cribbage. You get your name
Yeah.
in the paper. So if it happens
Here's
tonight,
a
we're gonna
perfect
call
game.
up Mr. Milligan.
So,
Okay, so why don't we?
there's a shadow box.
What, you want to go through the Polish things?
Yes, I
then?
do.
Yeah.
I want to know the
Oh,
Polish
yeah.
dates.
All
They're
right.
fine.
Guys need a drink?
29.
So, the most common one that it would be said after every hand is this term, doroboti. Doroboti means to work. Doroboti means to make or to work. So what happens is, after the bidding, after the melding, the scorekeeper writes down each person's meld. And then he subtracts the bid, subtracts the meld from the bid. Suppose you bid 15 and melded 7, then you have 8 to make your bid. So the scorekeeper would announce, we have 7, you have 8, 5 doroboti. Doroboti. That's the official term. It's how many you have to make. If you don't make your bid, so like if you bid 15, meld 2, and only take 11 on the play of the hand, you only made 13, so you get set. But the official term of that is you go into jura. The jura is the hole. So if you
Sounds like jail.
in the jura, in the jura, and
You don't want to be there.
if your score goes below 0, then that's another term meaning you're in the jura. So if you bid on the first hand, let's say Mike had it dropped on him and he didn't make the 15, then the scorekeeper would put a circle around that 15, meaning that's 15 in the jura.
15 in the hole.
Yeah, instead of a
Instead of
negative
negative
15,
sign, you circle it and
you
use the
circle,
Polish
then
version.
you got to work your way out. So if he
Right.
was 15 in the jura and made 16 on the next hand,
He's 1.
then he would be plus 1. Okay. But doroboti, the jura. All right. All right. Another term that they often used when there was like tense bidding between two players and one finally concedes, they would say to the other guy, "Graj." That meant play it, go ahead, But you do it as a kind of a challenge. You don't just say "graj." You say, like you're disgusted. You're 21, 22, 23.
Graj.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, play it. Graj.
Shit.
Good luck.
A beat sack is a word that no one knows what it really means. The others are Polish words, but it's the phenomenon of taking all the tricks. So if you take all the tricks, you give your opponents a beat sack, and it means you get 25 points, and the other team loses whatever meld it had. I just want to make a note of something. Loses whatever meld they had. So you have to save your meld. You save your meld by taking a trick that has it doesn't have to have a point in it as long as you take a trick. And you also save your meld if you're the high bidder by making as many points as you said you were going to make. So you can lose your meld in 2 ways. The other team gives you a beat sack, or you go into jura because you didn't make the right amount. So that's beat sack.
Paskudnik.
A paskudnik is it's sort of a
That's the word.
That's
to
the swear
remember.
word.
Remember that.
Yeah, it has many meanings.
yeah, but you'll
They're
know what
not
to use.
nice. When you get called a paskudnik,
It means like
usually that when you trump your partner's ace.
Yeah.
or if you have an ace and someone else trumps it on you, you call a guy. It means sort of like
Scoundrel.
What scoundrel?
Yeah.
Scoundrel, or a bad guy or something. Paskudnik. So we have a suha. A suha, that is Polish word, means dry. That occurs if you win the game, if you have 100 and your opponents are in the jura. So that to lose that way is considered a big disgrace.
Oh, it's like a skunking.
It's
Yeah.
exactly what it is, a
Skunk.
skunk. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
You have 100 and your opponent has less than 0.
Less than 0. So you whoop them.
And that's equivalent
Hold
to
your head in shame and you don't come back.
Right. So if you're playing best out of 3, that's equivalent to 2 wins.
Right.
So
You're no longer invited back.
well, it depends. It depends.
Depends.
Yeah, the
If
winners
there's
might
money,
invite
if there's
you back.
money on the
Yeah.
game, then
Yeah.
they're-
They'll play
they
you
won't come
again.
back. Yeah.
Śmierci, that's a word for dirt. It's what you say in disgust if you don't have good cards. They have a bunch of śmierci. And if you keep getting śmierci, then when it comes your turn to cut the cards,
Ah, the animal.
yeah, you might want to give the cards an enema. And that is a levativa. That means the cards aren't being good to you. They need, they have to have an enema. And you cut when it's offered to you to cut, usually just cut this way. But instead, you give it a literal, you give it an enema, cut like that
Right
to
from the
change,
middle.
to change the luck of the cards.
By the way, when you're dealing, whoever the dealer is, you always offer the person to your right the chance to cut the
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
If you don't have to cut, you can just put your hand.
You don't have to cut, but you have to offer
Offer
the
it at
chance.
least.
Yeah.
That's normal.
There's one other thing. I'm not sure about this rule, but I believe, let's suppose you were the highest bidder, and you shot your mouth off and you bid 30, and maybe you saw that your partner didn't have as much help as you thought was going to give you, and in your hand, you only have, let's say, you bid 30. You got 15 meld, and you got 15 done a bucket, okay? And you feel this is just I'm not gonna make it. You can throw in the hand and take your loss of 30, and the other opponents get their meld, but since you don't play the hand, they don't get whatever tricks they were gonna take. Okay, so you can do that. You can
Oh,
just
yeah,
give up.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Pete, my father played that way.
Did he?
You concede the hand when it's just, you feel it's impossible.
If it's impossible, and what you can save